Hello and Happy New Year! Let's plan for your success in the OET in 2025. So, why does OET matter? I'm sure you know this exam is going to help you support your career goals. It's going to provide you with work opportunities by being able to show your competency in language. Not only might you get, a job opportunity abroad, but having this exam under your belt will give you the confidence you need to work abroad. And this might mean you can improve the standard of living for yourself and your families. You can embrace new culture. There's so many things you can do once you have your OET. We know it's a high stakes exam. It's expensive, you have to put in a lot of effort, and it should be worth it. So, how can we maintain that positivity? How can you get there in 2025? We're going to be looking at planning for success for you this year in 3 easy stages by identifying where you're at, focusing on how you're going to improve, and keeping that positivity up. My name's Sona, I'm your online OET tutor with Bose Learning, and I'm a premium preparation provider of the OET. Thank you very much for joining today. So let's get started then. How can you start your OET journey? Well, the first thing you should do is identify where you're at. So you need to be aware of your current English level. And the way to do that is by doing an online test. Do it with someone improved, so someone with good credentials, like the British Council, for example. This is free. You just register, you give your email address, etc. But it's free. I've popped in a little QR code so you can scan that as well. So that will take you directly to this test, and you can do that once you finish this video. This will give you an indication of what your current English level is. There's also an OET version, which is more OET related, but I want you to do something not OET related to begin with. Just establish where you're at in your English level capabilities. And the reason you need to know that is because this will give you an indication of how long it's going to take you to achieve your goals. So this is a little table that the OET produced a while ago, and it gives a very rough indication of where you are now and how long you will need to study. And it's quite a good guide for you there. So once you've identified your current English level, if you are a B1 or below, absolutely nothing wrong with starting your training now, but please don't try to do the OET yet because, it's just not possible within that B1 stage of language capacity. What you have to do when you're B1 is invest time instead in getting to your level of B2, and then you can start your OET. If you try and do it at B1, honestly, you'll just get disheartened, and that's not what you want to do. You want to be at that level where you can start training for the OET. So if you're B1 and B2, not impossible, but just get your language levels up. And you can do that by attending English classes online or at a further education college, something like that. So make sure that your level is B2 when you begin. So if you are at B2 or above, the next thing to think about is how much time do you actually have? Because I know, let's face it, all of you guys are busy, you've got work commitments, you've got family commitments, maybe you're still studying as well. So really think about how much time do you have to dedicate to this? Because remember, if you are at a low B2 and you do your OET, you'll get to a grade C, which is not what we want. To get to a better level, you are going to need to put in a minimum of 200 to 250 hours of study time. Okay. Um, Now, if you've only got an hour a day, that's fine. That's quite a lot, actually, isn't it? An hour a day. But it's going to take you 200 days. So don't expect to get your OET in a month. Think about how much time you've got, allocate it wisely, budget your time accordingly, set your expectations at the right point. Don't try to be unrealistic because it's not going to help you in the long run. So, really know where you're at, know how much time you've got, and then, happy days, 200 happy days. And I say happy because they are. Each time you are studying, you are investing in yourself. So don't think of it as a chore, think of it as an investment. 200 days, I'm going to put in an hour a day, I'm going to get there. Or perhaps you have more time at the weekend. So think about how you're going to allocate that time. So you can do it. Of course you can, but you need the time, you need the stamina, and you need the headspace to do this. So make sure you have all of these things in place. So, another practical tip then, if you are C1 or above, so once you're at that C1 level, not only do you think about how much time you've got, but I want you also now to do one practice test. And this is so that you can identify your strengths and your weaknesses. Okay, because again, this is going to help you. Just do one for now. Don't try and do lots, okay? Because doing practice tests doesn't actually help improve your skills. It just tells you where you're at. So if you imagine someone who is anemic and you tell them to increase their iron intake, there's no point them just taking test after test, every single day, because the blood results will be exactly the same. They need to input that iron somehow before their iron levels will increase. And it's the same with language. You need to input before you can just do tests. So once you've identified where you're at, you can create that study plan so you can be putting in all this information into your mind. And this is where you start focusing. Build your language skills, and you can do this in so many different ways by reading articles, healthcare related articles online, by looking at listening to podcasts. You can talk with friends and colleagues. And what would be great is if you can create a weekly plan so you're really focused and really organized. And your plan can look something like this. So on Monday, listen to a healthcare podcast and take notes. And I want you to do both. Don't just listen and take notes, because this way you are encouraging your brain to get into that practice of listening and writing, which of course you need to do for your test. I've actually got a little video on here about which podcasts you can listen to, so you can go back and listen to that again after you finish this one. On Tuesday, write a summary of the podcast. So again, you're getting your brain into that writing mode, and then perhaps do some grammar exercises that you can find online. On Wednesday, move on, do a role play with a colleague, and then listen to the model and see what was different. So do the role play first, analyze it, and then go back and then listen to a model, which you can do on YouTube. Again, on YouTube, perhaps on Thursday, watch a reading test part A video so you understand what you need to do. And then on Friday, you do one for yourself. You do a reading part A, and then you analyze where you went wrong. Was it spelling? Was it running out of time? What actually happened? So on Saturday, review the whole week. Look at your mistakes, look at your improvements, and this is such an important consolidation step that lots of people kind of miss out because they think, oh, I've done that. No, constantly go back and review what you've done, because again, this is building up your stamina, your skills in your brain. And then finally, on one day, make sure you rest and enjoy some time with nature, friends, family. So make sure you're building that into your weekly plan as well. Another practical tip for you, focus on micro skills. What do I mean by that? For example, you could be focusing on identifying connotation. So, what does the writer mean when they say this? And that's really important for reading Part C. A great skill to have is paraphrasing because, of course, all the questions and answers are paraphrased. So, spend time paraphrasing. When you read something in your daily life, think about what's another way of saying this? How would I say this to a patient, maybe? So you read a technical article, how could I say that to a patient? Practice reading while listening, because again, that's a skill you need when you're doing the listening test. You need to be able to listen and read the questions and answers options. Practice using lay language. Practice eliminating wrong options. Practice global understanding. Work on purpose in your writing. Work on accents. So today you listen to something from Australia, then America, then India, maybe. So do all these little micro skills. Build that into your schedule as well. And one way you can do this is by looking at my videos. I've got so many playlists available for you. If you've only got 10 minutes a day, then take a look at my 10-minute OET list. If you want to work on grammar, for example, I've got a grammar list. Maybe if you want to work on speaking, I've got reading, I've got writing, I've got lay language. So take a look at that and really practice your micro skills as well. And then once you've done that, build your exam stamina. Okay, so you really need to work on being able to answer the exam in those 3-4 hours. It's a long stretch, and if you haven't done exams for a bit, then it comes as a bit of a shock. So work on that as well. And when you're doing that, I want you to do it mindfully. Okay, so when you're practicing an exam, do it so that you can understand the exam. Do it with that intention in your mind. I want to do this practice test so I can understand the concept of the exam. I am doing this practice test today because I want to test myself under time conditions. How do I do it? And once you finish, go over your answers and use the key and the transcript wisely. So look at your mistakes. Where are you going wrong? Look at the transcript. What words are unfamiliar to you? Write them in a sentence. Practice something, maybe some difficult spelling. Write it down 10 times so it's in your head. Use the transcript and change it into a role play. You know, there's so many things you can do with the transcript. So use practice tests mindfully. And then we move on to positivity. So in this whole process, it's a hard slog, I'm not going to lie. But, you know, keep that positive mental attitude going. Confidence comes from experience. The more you put in, the more confident you will be. The more times you practice reading, the more experience you have. The more time you practice speaking with patients and clients and, you know, carers, the more experience you will be, and that creates that confidence which will keep you positive. And also, please, please, please be kind to yourself. So many of my candidates are so busy looking after other people, you know, their patients, their family. They don't make time for themselves, and that's so important. So make sure you acknowledge what you're doing. Mark your progress. Don't get disheartened, you know, you're human. Just try your best and just believe that you can do this. So make sure you are being kind to yourself. Build in that time in your schedule for breathing. It's so important, especially under very scary exam conditions. Build time to be with nature. Go for a walk. You know, it's so important for our mental health. We hear this all the time. You say this to your own patients, please be kind to yourself. Go out, go for a walk in the park, spend time with loved ones and pets. It's so important. Do some exercise. Keep going with all aspects of that kind of thing because that is going to help reinforce your learning as well. So invest your time wisely. You can do this. Believe that you can and just do your best. I hope you enjoyed this little video. If you want a regular dose of all things OET, why not subscribe to my Telegram group? There's a QR code there for you. And thanks very much for watching. I hope you got something out of this. I hope you can go away and look at some of the other videos in my playlist and feel free to get in touch. I always love hearing from you guys. So it'll be lovely to know how you're doing and how you're progressing this year. Hope to see you really soon. Take care and good luck. Bye.